Give me the hot sauce, Bill Buck. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Welcome into a brand new edition of the Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. And unfortunately, the hits keep on coming for the Chicago Bulls. Just one game after the All-Star break, more bad news on the injury front. I'm going to read this to you from the Bulls press release. Patrick Williams, who has been sidelined since January 25th with initial bone edema in his left foot, recently underwent routine subsequent imaging, revealing the progression of his foot stress reaction. Williams will undergo surgery and be out for the remainder of the season. Hate to start the show with that bad news, but Stacey, we were wondering what was up with Patrick Williams. They were being really cautious about providing any timeline on when he might return, and now he's done for the season. How does that impact the team going the rest of the way?
Well, it impacts him greatly because this is a guy that they counted on to be back in a few weeks to be able to help them in the, at the power forward position, the small forward position. And plus he had been playing much better as of late before he went down with the injury. So yeah, this impacts them greatly because now they have no depth. Their depth is very thin. And he's a quality player. So you're really losing a quality player. I know some people go, well, he wasn't, he didn't do this, didn't do that. But he had started to really play well. He's one of the young players the Bulls had counted on that, when they made that switch to going from playing bad 5 of 14 in the beginning to turning it around in December and January. And he'll definitely be missed. I was expecting him to come back, and that'll be interesting to see what the Bulls do, knowing that he's not going to be back here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, at the start of the year when the Bulls weren't able to work out a contract extension with Patrick, he talked to reporters about the fact that he was looking for a big contract. Well, this is really going to impact him in restricted free agency because he's only going to wind up playing about 60% of the games since he came into the league. So teams that are out there are going to have questions about his durability. I mean, for Pat, this is going to cost him a lot of money. It's really unfortunate from a business perspective too.
Well, yeah, that's gonna really affect the bottom line because he will be a restricted free agent. It really helps the Bulls, to be honest, because now you could basically say, go out there and see what you can get on the open market. We'll match whatever we can get, and then what you just said, him missing in so many games in his career, people are going to be hesitant to really invest so much money in a guy that hasn't played a lot, due to injury. So. And if you're Patrick Williams, yeah, it could be a bummer for you. But on the same token, you can come back and sign a 1-year deal and then be an unrestricted free agent and have a bet on yourself and have a great year next year and then be one of the top free agents on the open market.
The other news that regarding the Bulls roster-wise that happened on Friday was kind of a bit of a head-scratcher. The Bulls decided to elevate their two-way player, Onuralp Bitim, to a full NBA standard contract, a multi-year deal, which is kind of odd because they need some help with size with the power forward position, and yet you're bringing another swing guy that's a guard small forward type. Were you surprised at that, Stacey, that they elevated him?
No, not really. I've been wanting to know when he was going to be elevated from the beginning because he brought him up. He's one of the when he came over as being a reputation for Turkey, being a great European player, and I thought he was going to be on the roster to start the season. I didn't know he was going to be on a two-way. And once he was on that two-way, I was a little surprised by that. And then he got, he had some games where he's trying to feel his way through with the Windy City team. And then he got hurt. And then he came back recently and had some big games. And, knowing that the Bulls mark needs shooting, this is what they brought this kid in for, is to bring him in to shoot the basketball. They didn't bring him in here to be a guy that's like, oh, he's going to be a defensive stopper. They knew what they were getting when they signed him. And, just the last few weeks in the G League, you see him more than we do. He's proven that, hey, you know what? He can shoot the basketball. He can do a lot of things that can help this team win. And it just so happens that, everything's happening at once. You lose Torrey Craig to a freak injury coming back from All-Star break. He had just came back from injury, and now he's back on there 4 to 6 weeks. Now today we lose Patrick Williams. This team does need some size, and, what do you have the G League for? I mean, let's be honest. What do you have the G League for? You got guys that can play at this level, at least give you – I'm not saying they got to start. I'm not saying they got to give you 30, 40 minutes. But if they can come in and play a role and give you, 15 to 20 minutes, why not bring them up?
One of the things that surprised me, though, with the timing of this and then the announcement of the Patrick Williams surgery that's going to put him out for the rest of the season. I don't know if you saw this, Stacey, but about an hour or so ago, Oklahoma City waived Alexei Pokashevsky, who had started games for them the last couple of years. He's about a 22-year-old 7-footer who might have been able to get a look at that power forward spot. Now the Bulls are full up at 15 roster players.
Well, and here's the interesting thing about that. I mean, if this guy was as good as, they think he is, Billy Donovan had a good look at him for 3 or 4 years, so he had firsthand knowledge of the kid. And if he really wanted that guy, he could have easily went in and told the front office, like, hey, this kid can help us. He can shoot the basketball. He can rebound, but that didn't happen. And, I don't know who's left in the buyout market because, I'm focused on these last 26 games. And if they were going to do something, they would have done something at All-Star break. I don't know if they're going to do anything. I think the sentiment, I think in the front office is that they're going to let this team ride the way it is, continue to develop, Kobe and, Dalen Terry and Ayo and roll with that. Now, I said this last night at the game against the Celtics, you still have Kobe and DeMar playing crazy minutes. Billy's got to find a way to limit their minutes because if they do make the playoffs, these guys are going to be fried, when it comes to the end of the season. So you got to start playing some other kids. You got to start giving Dalen Terry some more minutes. You got to give Ayo some more minutes at the point guard position. Bitim, now that you've got him on the roster, you got to get him out there and see what he can do. See what he can do. It'll be interesting to see how they play him because it's been Billy's known not to play guys that he's not familiar with. And to have the guy sitting on the bench and not playing them, I think is a disservice to the team. And I think they've got to find him some minutes.
Well, we got to the breaking news right away, so I didn't get a chance to say hello to our guy, Timmy Whispers. I see you got the Friday beer in front of you. It is happy hour Friday.
It's happy hour
How
somewhere.
things going this week, Whispers?
It was a rough week. That's why there's a beer in front of me. And but yeah,
the beer would be there anyway.
It'd be there anyway.
Come on.
Yeah,
well, that's the great thing about beer. It can be a good week, a bad week. It can be Tuesday. A day ends in Y. It could be a holiday. It could be someone's birthday. Doesn't matter. You can always grab a cold beer. That's what does matter.
You never made it down to Fort Myers over All-Star break, did you, Whispers?
Well, there was this guy I was going to go with.
Oh, here we
promised buying a ticket.
Here we
I'm
go.
not buying a ticket until you buy a ticket. Send me that confirmation because all the travel I have coming up, I don't need to add to the schedule. But nonetheless, you are correct. But I will be there for my wife's birthday.
And I'll be there too.
Well, all right. Let's all go together.
Well, we mentioned the All-Star break is over. The rest of the season, we got the final third, the sprint to the finish. Bulls looked good for a half yesterday against the Celtics, Stacey, and then then Jason Tatum started raining in 3-point shots, some really contested shots.
Man, I tell you what, man, the Celtics look good. I don't know if they are a championship caliber team. I don't know that. I didn't really see that last night. They're very good. They play defense. They get after you defensively, which when you play defense at a high level like they do, you got a chance to win a lot of basketball games. Now, what's going to come down to is when you get to the playoffs, which one of those guys is going to take over? Which one of those guys is my team? Get on my shoulders. Yeah. I'm going to carry you because the way it's set right now, Brown was in the first half. He got off. Jason Tatum in the second half got off. You can't do that in the playoffs. You got to be able to play the same way, make adjustments offensively in your offense to get your star players off. I'm still not sold on Porzingis. Porzingis can't guard anybody. So I'm not really sold on him, but he does give them a added dimension of scoring.
Is Tatum a killer though?
Yeah, I think Tatum's a killer. I like Jason Tatum.
To the playoffs, I love him. I think he plays great. But is he a killer when you get to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that what you worry about in the playoffs is Jaylen Brown. I don't think you need to worry about Tatum. I think you need to worry about Jaylen Brown. I think you need to worry about Porzingis. I think those two guys are the ones you have to concern yourself with because, as we know, the playoffs are totally different than the regular season. Teams have time to adjust. They're going to make Jaylen Brown put the ball on the floor. They're not going to let him just, shoot threes and post up when he wants to. They're going to make him do other things with the ball. And if you remember last year in the playoffs where he struggled going to his left, his ball handling was atrocious last year. And we really don't know if his ball handling is better this year because they hadn't had to do it. He hasn't had to be pressed to handle the ball under pressure. Last year, Miami forced him to put the ball on the floor, and you saw he turnover after turnover after turnover. His ball handling was just not good for them last year, and that was one of the reasons why they got bounced by Miami.
How about our guy Luke Kornet getting a couple of dunks and then dabbing himself going back up and down the court?
Yeah.
I mean,
man,
that was a clown show.
He was basically
right?
He basically was like, he's like, Jim Boylan, I knew you believed in me, that kind of thing. I know that was for us over there, the Chicago Bulls haters. But listen, he should be dunking on people. He's 7'1", 7'2", should be dunking on people. And listen, no one has anything. Luke's a good kid. No one has anything against Luke. It was just the assessment of a coach making a crazy, comparison to someone that he can't compare him to. So Luke's not a bad guy. No one wants to see, everybody wants to see Luke do well, but at the same time, I think, the comparison that Jim Boylan said he reminded him of Robert Horry with his defense and the way he shoots the basketball. I'm like, that's what? That's a little bit too far for me.
That reaction when Leila Rahimi had that sideline report from you and Neil was priceless. It was so funny.
Oh man, it was kind of. Listen, I've had a few moments. The Denzel Valentine, half court chart. That we said no before he let it go.
Did you just call it a chart?
A shot. It's a shot. So wow, Tim.
He said it was a chart.
Yes. So those kind of go down in the Bulls annals, man, of some of the funniest calls, because those are all like sporadic. Those are not like thought out things. It's just like it's a natural reaction to what a fan is probably thinking. A fan is probably thinking the same thing, like Denzel taking that that 40-foot shot, with down 2 or something. He takes that bad shot, and people are like, "What the?" So I can't curse on TV, but you know what I'm going. No, I can't.
No, here you can.
You can curse here?
No, you can let it fly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We got those F-bombs go.
Yeah, we got children here. We got children here. But
that's all right.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, Mark. You there's certain things like you remember, and Luke Kornet had a good game. He had a couple of dunks last night. And we I blame defense. Sometimes I get so mad at this team defensively that they can't stay locked in for 40 plus minutes. Like, you want to get to the playoffs. You want to, get to 500. You want to be a good team, man. Good teams stay locked in. You don't have, you got an 82 game season. It's hard to stay locked in for 82 games. You're going to have games in the season where you get blown out. Your defense let you down. You didn't, do certain things to win games. But when you're a team like the Bulls that are fighting for a playoff spot, and you got 27 games in, this is where you lock in. This is where we got to put all the BS to the side. We don't have to worry about, we're not worrying about who gets the shots. What do we need to do to win it? Because if you remember the second half last year, they had one of the best records in the second half coming after All-Star break. And, so if they want to get to where they need to get to this year, they got to have a similar run that they had last year. Now, we don't have Patrick Beverley to be in the locker room motivating people, so that hurts. But you can't have these mental breakdowns now. 20. Vooch last night. 20 points in the first half, 2 points in the second half. 1 for 7 from the field. He got 20 and 10 in the first half, and then the second half disappeared. And it's like, why did he disappear? Was it the play calling? Was it he wasn't aggressive? What was it? All I can see was that you got to come out, and you're the main guys. You got to come out every night and deliver. There's no excuses. You're the main guy. You're going to get all these shots. You got the green light to do what you do. You got to come out and play hard.
Yeah, and the schedule coming up is brutal. You got to go to New Orleans on Sunday.
And they're
making
really
a playoff push. Zion Williamson has really kind of come on, and people haven't been talking about him this year, but he's been able to stay on the court and he's put up good numbers. Got to play the Clippers, Cleveland, Milwaukee. They could be in a situation where this could be free fall time, especially with the injury situation.
Well, and the injuries really make it tough, because now you're missing 2 quality players that's in your rotation, and now you got to figure out, okay, how can we navigate through this really, really tough schedule and be able to get some wins and stay on pace to make the play in or wherever we're going to be at. And that's why I said every game is a different game. You got to focus on the game that you played last night. Jason Tatum historically has had a hard time scoring in Chicago. He doesn't play well in Chicago, and it looked like he was in the first half that was true. And then all of a sudden, great players find ways to get going. He had a couple of tough shots with people in his face, and then all of a sudden his confidence got going, and he just carried him in the second half. And then White. I mean, come on, Derek White. I mean, did you see the block he had on Vooch? I mean, the guy. I mean, Vooch was posted him up and turned to shoot a hook shot, and the kid jumped up at 6'3", 6'4", and blocked his shot straight up.
Just like whispers.
It was. I was just like, there's no way. I think he had 3 or 4 blocks yesterday. His game is really elevated. He probably should have been on the All-Star team this year. He missed being on the All-Star team. But
the hairline did it.
Wow, he shaved all his hair off.
And still, you can see it.
Just like whispers.
Hey, but I like him though. I like him. He defends. They're a very good defensive team. Even with Porzingis. Porzingis not blocking a lot of shots, but they're very good defensively, man. I really like the way they play defense.
Hey, speaking of defense, what do you think of the All-Star game?
It's horrible.
111 points. That was an abomination.
It's horrible. It's starting to become an embarrassment. And what they need to start doing is like how they used to do with Kobe and those guys and Michael and those guys. Is like, okay, we're gonna mess around the first half. Second half, we're playing for real. Because like I think, me personally, like if you're the best player, like I want to know where I rank. Okay. If I'm in there on a game full of stars, I want to know where I rank amongst the best in the game. So therefore, I'm gonna come at you and I expect you to come at me. That's how we play. They'd be like, you remember Giannis used to play that way. Giannis used to come out there, didn't care. He's just out there playing hard. And, people used to say, oh, why is he showing off? And, why is he playing so hard? The other players would say that. But if you have more and more players start having that attitude, then everybody will start playing that way. It just takes 1 or 2 guys to play hard and make the other guys look bad, because nobody at the end of the day, Mark, nobody wants to look bad. Everybody wants to, they want to look like, hey, we all are on the same level here. We're playing it the same way. But if you got Giannis, you got, Anthony Edwards, you got, 2 or 3 other players who second time in the All-Star game who appreciate being there and know what the fans want to see, and they come out and start playing hard. That's one thing about Kobe Bryant. That's where you really miss Kobe Bryant, because Kobe Bryant as a player didn't really care about all the, let's just go out here and entertain the fans. He was like, I'm here to destroy people. I need to let you people know that you're not on my level. And
I'm
so
a professional analyst.
People would always say, like, man, you don't want to play, you don't mess around with Kobe, because Kobe plays extremely hard. And he forced all the other guys to play hard. That's why you see him. Remember when he elbowed Dwayne Wade in the face in the playoff game? You know, if he's just half messing around, that doesn't happen. But when you're competing against somebody and you're trying to destroy him, that's going to happen. And so I think Dwayne Wade ended up getting like 6 stitches in the eye or something. And, people were talking about, man, Kobe's vicious. Yeah, he is vicious because he's competitive. He wants you to know that, hey, Dwayne Wade, yeah, we're cool and everything, but you're not on my level. And I think that's what the players need to go back to doing. Is some of these younger players are going to have to start doing it. The older players like LeBron and those guys, they're set in their ways. They've been to 15, 16 All-Stars. They're at the end of their career. They're not going to play hard. But these young kids coming in, yeah, they need to start turning around and start making it entertaining.
But did you like Lillard shooting from 52 feet, 51 feet?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he does. That's what he does.
Not in games. I mean, come on.
Well,
that was entertaining. I will go with
what's
that,
entertaining
guys.
for him? And why don't they win some games in Milwaukee, right? They're not the same team. They're not the same team in Milwaukee.
52-footers in Milwaukee.
Yeah, shoot some 52. Yeah, shoot some 52-footers in Milwaukee. Because I'm going to tell you now, that team is not the same team. They're not the same team. And they're going to end up, I'm telling you, this move of firing Adrian Griffin is going to backfire, I think, at the end of the day. They're not going to get to where they're supposed to. They might get to the second round, but I don't see this team winning a championship. And I think, getting rid of Adrian Griffin has really caused a ripple effect in the locker room. And it's really hurt this team where they were, because he held people accountable, and you hear all these people, jumping on. You heard JJ Redick talking about Doc, and, Doc wants to pass the buck now because the Bucks are not winning. Now it's like, oh, it's so hard to come in the middle of the season and win games. Then why'd you take the job? You know what I'm saying? Don't take the job if it's going to be hard. That's what I say. Don't take the job if it's going to be hard. You knew what you were getting because you were consulted.
Well, Father Time is undefeated, and that Milwaukee team just looks old right now. Brook Lopez is in his mid-30s. He's not moving real well. Chris Middleton is always injured. Jay Crowder is washed up. I mean, that team, it's Giannis against the world. And I think they underestimated how Jrue Holiday really kept everything together on both sides of the court. He was more important than they realized. Yeah, Lillard's a dynamic scorer, but Holiday did things that I think they undervalued.
Well, you saw that last night against Boston, how important he is to that team. I mean, rebounding, posting up, defending anybody on the floor. He can guard anybody on the floor. He got his hand knocked a couple of balls away that led to steals and fast break for Boston. And that's where they miss. And sometimes, sometimes teams, they hurt themselves by, something not being enough. It's like, okay, we got an all-star caliber point guard already that really is unselfish. He doesn't ask to, he doesn't have to score 25. He doesn't have to score 30, but he's content being the second or third wheel on a team. And he's one of the most underrated players in the game as far as the point guard position. But that's not good enough. We see a shiny little car over here that we're like, yeah, I think I want that car because it's got nice wheels and it's super fast and it's a Ferrari. I think I want that one. And then you let go of the Chevrolet that starts up every night, no matter what. No matter if it's rain, sleet, or snow, that Chevy's going to start up every day, and it's going to get you to where you need to go. So they went for the shiny car, and it's not working right now. Can they turn it around? Yeah, they can turn it around, but not right. The reason why I don't think it's going to turn around because Giannis now is starting to become the player that we didn't want him to become. What thing that made Giannis so special was Giannis was, he was never a me guy. He never was a me guy. It's always we, the team. And he, to me, now has become a me guy. He wants to be everything run through him. He wants to handle the ball. He wants to call the shots. He wants to tell everybody what to do. And that was one of the beautiful things about Giannis, the humbleness, the team first attitude. Now he's gotten to that point. Now you can see it. He's changed. He's the guy now. He's, and he didn't even have to do that, Mark. He didn't have to change. He could stay the same way he was, and he still would have the same impact that he's having. But now he wants to control everything. He wants to control who handles the ball. He wants to bring the ball up, initiate the offense. Then why'd you go get Dame Lillard? Why'd you get Dame Lillard? And so now why him playing this way makes it very difficult for Milwaukee to probably get past the second round.
Yeah, he's got that new film out on Prime Network talking about his family's journey, and everybody loved him because he was the humble superstar. I agree with you 100%, Stacey. He's changed. He's been ripping his teammates, talking about, making excuses and stuff. And he's making excuses, talking about change in ownership, 3 different coaches, injuries, So I think he's setting the stage for the big trade demand. He'll probably try to get out to Golden State and team up with Steph Curry.
Well, and I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if he doesn't demand, because that's the way it looks like it's going. Because like I said, the one thing that really made him special and made him very likable was the fact that, I'm going to be in Milwaukee for the rest of my life. I love it here and I love the people and, I love being here. And it's just a humble superstar. You always rooted for him. Even when you're playing against him, you always rooted for him. And then you saw his story, the movie that came out at Disney, and you got a better understanding of where he came from. So you just really, really we're in this kid's corner. But over the last couple of years, them getting knocked out in Miami, last year, and then just listening to him talk, it's more now he's turned into a me guy. It's me. And listen, they don't make that trade for Jrue Holiday to Damian Lillard without going through him. They don't.
Exactly.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Maybe 5 years ago they might have, but they don't do that now. Any moves that goes on in Milwaukee goes through Giannis's desk first. Giannis, what do you think about this? Giannis, what do you think about it? Would you mind playing? And he had to sign off on it. He signed off on that. And I'm telling you, and I'm sure Jrue Holiday is really upset about it, because he had to make sacrifices in his game to allow Giannis to elevate. And, and he was great in the community. He does everything that you wanted your superstar player to be. And, that's why, it's hard to root for organizations sometimes, because this is a business at the end of the day. It's a business. Players are starting to recognize it's not about what you did or what you do for them in the community. It's a business at the end of the day. And if you're not reaching certain expectations, that organization has the right to move you. And, going through Giannis, like, hey, we need to upgrade, because he already put it in their ear, basically like, hey, I'm not signing my extension until I see that we're doing something. Now, right there tells you, that's a me guy, because he would never have said that 5 years ago. So, they're going to have some problems in their hand, and there's a reason why his brother's still on the roster. Most teams would have cut his brother by now. his brother is on the roster because Giannis is in Milwaukee, and that's the only reason why they got him back. He was a selling piece of bringing his brother back. His brother probably got a lifetime contract in Milwaukee as long as Giannis is there. And he's basically holding up a roster spot. I mean, they could use that spot to go really get some other people that can help them and what they need. Maybe another shooter, maybe another wing player. But they're locked in with him, and he doesn't even play. Did you see him? Did you see him a couple nights ago before the break? It was like the end of the game. They were I don't know if they were winning or losing, but it was like the last minute of the game. They take the ball out, and then the point guard comes back and get the ball. Then he tells the point guard, "Give me the ball, give me the ball." And then the point guard looks at him, and they starts dribbling, and then he gives it to him, right? And he ended up getting an 8-second call. He got an 8-second call before the ball came over there. And then they have these on the internet. They have these crazy videos of Thianasis and like all his mistakes he's made, and then some of his terrible shot selections. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But they definitely, he's there because of his brother. Let's be real. And that's the spot Milwaukee probably could use to go get something that they need to be able to get them to push, because they were the only teams other than getting Dame Lillard. What moves did they make to be able to beat Boston? And when Embiid comes back, what moves did they make to ensure they can beat Philadelphia? Because Philadelphia went out and got Buddy Hield, and that's a move no one's really talking about, because the Sixers are struggling right now because Embiid is out. But when Embiid comes back, that is a huge piece for them. That is a legit three-point shooter, one of the best three-point shooters in the game. And now when you pair him up with Embiid, how do you double Embiid? How do you leave a guy like Hield to go double team and Maxey with the way he's playing? So people are not talking about Philadelphia right now because Embiid is out, and they said teams are beating them. But when Embiid comes back, it doesn't matter what seed they are. They can be a 6 seed. They can be a 7 seed. They are going to be a tough out.
Well, you mentioned the internet, and Stacey got in a pretty heated Twitter beef this week. We're going to talk football in our next segment. Justin Fields, the debate rages on across Chicagoland when we return. But first, Whispers, tell the folks about our good buddy, Jeff Vukovich.
Oh, man. You're laying it on me here, huh? Let's see.
It's right in front of you.
I do have it. I do have it. Give me a moment. All right. I got it. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't say that.
Oh, shoot. Who printed this? This must be from 1974. They will treat you like royalty.
Oh,
if you call Jeff Vukovich, you can reach him at jeffvuk.com. Hey, where's the screen?
The phone number's on your screen, right?
It's not, but
oh, come on. What's going on over there?
Yeah, see, the principal's gone and the students are running.
I see it on the screen through the glass.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
My screen.
Wow.
Wait, hold on.
There it is, Tim.
Oh. Reach Jeff at 847-825-4783. That's 847-825-4783. And I already know he has the golden pipes warmed up because he's right next to me and I can hear him loud and clear.
Nationwide is on your side.
Oh, I could feel
thank goodness Stacey salvaged that segment.
Yeah, because
we apologize for Tim's bungled read.
Oh, it's like hey, Mark.
One job.
It was like the Titanic, brother. We was sinking from the start. Nothing we could do. I wasn't gonna stay on there with the band, baby. I was grabbing little children and sitting there with me.
Hey, you're a captain. I'm just down there in steerage trying to serve some donuts.
Oh my God, no. Stop it.
You got to get a broadcast professional in there to do that.
No kidding. I mean, who am I? What am I doing here?
We're coming right back. We're going to talk some football. Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. Who you got? That's next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Time to talk some football on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Stacey is a man of the people. Yes. He always responds to viewers who make comments on the various social media platforms. If you're respectful, Stacey will answer you. But if you're going to mess with him, you better be ready for some give back. Stacey, what did you think of that old Justin Fields episode this week?
Listen, man. I love Chicago fans. They're very knowledgeable. They're very passionate about whatever sport you're talking about. And this Justin Field thing is really it's really bizarre because it seems like there's a group of people that love Justin Fields and there's a group of people who actually hate him. Like not just dislike his play as a quarterback, but just hate him. And it's really sad too, because it's like, wow, like what has this kid done? I mean, you can sit down, Mark, and break down his production over his career here. Okay. At the end of the day, the Bears did no service to this kid. The offense, they had 3 offensive coordinators, 2 head coaches, 3 head coaches, however many head coaches he had. They never really developed him. He's had to go out there on pure athletic ability and to make plays. They haven't surrounded him with talent. They just finally went out and got DJ Moore, and they took off. He made Mooney before he had Moore. Mooney was the guy that they produced. He produced a lot of yards as really a third receiver playing the number 1 guy. So they finally go out and get Moore. Moore becomes career numbers across the board for him. And I think that's what people are not getting this, is that this guy played in Carolina where he was the number 1 guy. He comes to Chicago and he puts up monster numbers across the board, career numbers across the board, and Justin Fields was his quarterback. They did an interesting stat, because a lot of Justin Fields haters just go by, oh, he holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't read defenses. Okay, well, break it down. If you ever watch Bears tape, and you watch film, one of the reasons why Justin Fields struggles and holds the ball too long is that their quarterback, their receivers who run their routes, you ever notice them, Mark, they run them together. They're all in the same area. Nobody gets any separation. No one comes across the middle. No one goes, with a quick slant. No one goes sideline. They're all in the same area, which makes the defense easy to guard 3 receivers. Okay. And then the 3 guys that are not named Komet or more have more drops. Their percentages of drops are like super high, higher than normal in NFL, 25%, 28% drop rate. When you look at DJ Moore, 0 drop rate, Komet, 2% drop rate. That means they're catching everything that comes their way. The other guys are dropping balls. So if you're a quarterback, you're saying, well, why am I going to throw these guys? They don't catch the ball. Okay, I'm going to go to guys who catch the ball. So then, yeah, maybe he is holding the ball too long, waiting for DJ Moore to get open because that's the only reliable receivers they have. But it's interesting to see some of the professional guys when they break down the numbers. And a lot of times fans don't want to hear that, Mark. They don't want to hear the numbers. They don't want to know why this is why Justin Fields is the quarterback that he is. You could have put anyone behind that offensive line last year and put anybody in this system last year and they would have struggled. They would have struggled. And I don't care who it was. You could have put Brock Purdy back here. Well, people say, oh, Brock Purdy reads the defenses. He gets the ball out quick. Yeah, but Brock Purdy's got Hall of Famers around him on the offensive side of the ball. You got a stud running back in McCaffrey. You got Debo Sanders. You got Kittle, who's one of the best tight ends in the world. Anayu, the receiver, he's good. I mean, they've got a ton of guys that he can get the ball to. Justin Fields has like maybe 2 guys he can get the ball to. There's no Hall of Famers on that roster. Maybe DJ Moore as he continues his career, but there's not a lot of Hall of Fame that he's playing with.
It sounds like Justin Fields has kind of resigned himself to the fact that he's going to be traded. I'm sure you saw the clips from the St. Brown Brothers podcast where he said, I just want it to be over. He said he'd love to stay in Chicago. He loves the fans. He loves the city. But I think that either he's been tipped off or he's just reading the tea leaves that, that looks like they're going to take Caleb Williams and move on from him and trade him to another team. It's kind of a sad story because Fields has worked his ass off, and yet he really hasn't gotten the support from the organization. He's been through a couple different offensive coordinators. They didn't really have a good system. Like you just mentioned, he hasn't had great supporting cast on the offense. I think that he's going to get traded, and there's going to be a ton of pressure on Caleb Williams to come into this market and try to prove that not only is he better than Justin Fields, but he's a guy that can live up to all the hype. People comparing him to Patrick Mahomes and all these other great quarterbacks.
Well, and here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. You got to remember, we're not playing in Southern California. Okay, that's where Caleb Williams has played. He's playing in nice weather. You got to come here every Sunday, and you're liable to play in a snowstorm. You're liable to play in a rainy conditions where it's hard to throw a football. If you're the Bears, and this is why I don't understand this, like what is the objective here? Because you're recycling quarterbacks every 3 years. Okay, and you're wasting a golden opportunity here to say, hey, look, we got the number 1 pick. We can get a king's ransom with this number 1 pick, which will elevate us to being not only winning our conference, but a chance to go deep in the playoffs and speed up our rebuild process with just that first pick. You go get another receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., or one of these other top receivers that are out there. Marvin Harrison would be my choice. you got another weapon for Fields to throw. You go out and replace an offensive lineman, go out and draft an offensive lineman, a center. You definitely need a center. Center is definitely, you should get a center. A tackle, whatever, wherever your needs are. I think it's center. But wherever your needs are, you go get that on the offensive line. Then you go get you a defensive end, and you're right back in the mix. You're very similar to what Detroit did. Detroit went out, they had 4 or 5 rookies last year that contributed to that team that got all the way to the NFC Championship game. So take a page out of their book. If you draft Caleb Williams at number 1 and you think he's Patrick Mahomes, which he's not. How many times in the last 10 years have we heard, when Michael Jordan played, he's the next Michael Jordan? Nowhere close. Okay, nowhere close. Okay, how many times do we hear these quarterbacks, these recent quarterbacks that have come out of college football? The Lawrence kid. Oh, he's the next great quarterback. He's this guy. He's going to take that team. He struggled this past season. He struggled. He's had a couple of different coaches. The Herbert kid in San Diego. Oh, he's a talent. This guy is the most talented quarterback we've seen in the last 25 years. There's always someone coming around that's going to be the next great quarterback. But until they're put in a system where they can win, and they can, look at Trey Lance. Trey Lance was like generational talent. This guy should be, San Francisco's going to get him, and he's a generational talent. He couldn't even he couldn't even do anything in San Francisco, so you got to be careful labeling these kids the next great so-and-so, because at the end of the day, they got to come and prove it. And that kid's got to come here. And first of all, he's not as big as Fields. He's not as fast as Fields. Fields has already proven he can play in this weather. He's already proven to you he's a leader. This kid, there's questions about his leadership. That USC game when he set out the last bowl game and kind of left USC in a lurch. They played the next kid in line. The kid threw 6 touchdowns in the bowl game.
Right.
So what does that tell you? Like, is Caleb Williams, is it the system? Is it the system that Lincoln Riley runs that can make any quarterback look great? I mean, he's had Heisman Trophy winners. So it's not like, Caleb Williams is just so good we can't pass on him. Yeah, you can. Because if he comes here and you realize he's not the leader that you thought in the locker room, players don't respect him, and he passes blame when things go wrong. Oh, it's the line's fault, because he's done that at USC. He's thrown a lot of people under the bus when he's at USC, and he's done that now in some of his interview process. So that's what they say. So you got to be careful who you bring into your locker room, because the players have already spoke. They want Fields. Your number 1 receivers flat out told you, I want Justin Fields. And I guess DJ Moore stopped following the Bears too, and no one's really talking about that.
Is this like draft day with Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same deal,
Whispers,
right?
what'd you think of Eberflus's new look? He introduced his coordinators yesterday. He's got the gray beard. He's got the new haircut. People were comparing him to George Clooney. What? It looked like you got a big makeover there.
It was overdue. I'm glad he's not talking to the fashion coordinator for oh my God, what's his name? Quarterback of the oh my God, it's the Vikings.
Oh,
going to Granimals, Kirk Cousins with his Granimals. But there's plaids, but yeah,
he's trying. First of all, his new look, he's trying to fool people so they won't fire him.
That's what he's doing. He's a new coach.
He changed his whole look. It's a new coach. It's
Yeah.
a new coach. He got a new coach that looks like George Clooney. They must have fired Eberflus. No, it's still Eberflus. It's like the old Scooby Doo when they pull off the mask and they find out who it was.
Right.
Yeah, when they pull off his mask, they're gonna find out it's still Eberflus there. Okay, so you can change your look. And then how about this? He's still gonna call. They hired defensive coordinator. He's still gonna call the plays. Like he's gonna call the plays.
That was weird. Huh?
And I mean, who does that? Who says that?
Yeah, that news conference is pretty weird. I mean, Eric Washington, who actually broke into coaching with the Bears in 2008, is the new defensive coordinator, and he told the media that was at Hallis Hall that I just want to focus on the things that I'm going to do, not what I can't do. But it kind of rang hollow that here he's brought in, and Eberflus is still going to call all the defensive signals, and then Shane Waldron wouldn't even mention the quarterbacks by name, and so his hands are tied behind his back. I mean. You really worry about how this is going to all end up because, like you mentioned, Stacey, they could trade the number 1 pick, get a boatload of picks. They've got $80 million to spend in free agency. The salary cap just went up.
Yep.
They could load this team around Justin Fields, and yet they're going to have 2 powerless coordinators with a rookie quarterback. It looks like,
and then also a lame duck coach. because if it doesn't work out, then all of a sudden now it's like he's gone. He's going to make good situation, and that's why I believe that he's going to call the defense, because he recognizes that if the defense is good, then they're going to give me credit like I know what I'm doing, and then the offense will fall on the offensive coordinator. So he's trying to save his job, because you don't never see anybody doing that unless it's like a mid-change in the middle of the year, and they say, okay, the coach is going to start calling the plays. They fired the defensive coordinator. You went out and got a brand new defensive coordinator, and you basically said yesterday, I'm going to be calling the plays. I mean, if I'm the defensive coordinator, well, that wasn't discussed in the interview, right? I mean, y'all didn't discuss this. Y'all just bring this up now, and then so they asked the defensive coordinator about it. He has to act like he doesn't know what's going on. Like, I'm just whatever they need me to do, I'll do it.
It's a tough spot, though. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, well, what would you do, Mark? I mean, if you're in that spot, would you lock the door and go in like Pace and just make a decision?
Well, if I was. If you're talking about what they do with the first pick, I would definitely trade back, get a boatload of picks, and I'd keep Fields.
Would you get another quarterback
as far as the coordinators go,
would you get another quarterback too later in the draft, since there's so many potential quarterbacks?
Be that worried about a backup quarterback. You could keep the kid you got there now. I don't think that's that important of a position.
No,
you can always pick up a veteran in free agency if you want somebody to hold a clipboard.
I agree,
because they're so close to being a very good football team. You go look how they finished, and they should have been evaluating Justin Fields at the end of the season. They won almost 5 games in a row. They finished Soldier Field winning their last 5 games, and I still believe that they sabotaged him in Green Bay. I believe that they wanted him to look bad because he looked good in that last home game. How
about the Pittsburgh game? Monday Night Football. You go all the way back to that. The call.
I just think that they didn't want him to look too good in that last game against Green Bay when you have nothing to lose. You're playing a rival team and you have an opportunity to knock them out of the playoffs. Why are you not going, hey, this kid's going to throw 50 times a game. We're going to evaluate him. We're going to give him the green light to do what he needs to do. We're going to put him in a position to succeed. They didn't do that. They ran more than they passed the ball. And it was just baffling how they ended up that last game of the season. It was like, wow, like, really? Y'all not even going to try to push the ball down the field. You're not even going to try to see what, Green Bay's defense is in the secondary. You're not even going to test them. You act like they were like the #1 defensive team in the league the way they played them.
Well, this debate's going to rage on until we get to the draft in late April.
Let me tell you, Justin Fields, let me tell you something. If they trade him and he ends up going to Pittsburgh or he ends up going to Atlanta, he is going to flourish. And the reason why I say that is because he's going to be in a stable environment where he's going to have a head coach like Mike Tomlin, who's no nonsense, and they're going to have the right people around. And they already got a receiver core waiting for him. They got a nice tight end there. They got an offense waiting for him. And he's going to flourish in there. Now, if you're the Bears, you got to trade him to the AFC. You can't let him be in the NFC. You can't let him roam in the NFC. I mean, even if you get a better package from Atlanta, you don't really want to see him in the NFC, because that could be a chance where that can come back and hurt you for the next 10 years. He's down there getting to the playoffs, winning Super Bowls, and the Bears are still in the same position they are 3 years later. They're getting rid of Caleb Williams because he's too small. He can't read defenses. He holds the ball too long, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And then they're going to regret not getting those boatloads of picks to be able to build their team the way they should be able to build that team and make them a contender right away. They're going to be years and years away from that.
Should we make the announcement on our draft analyst?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. That was yours was terrible.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, wow. Okay. Don't you have a soundbite there, D? Don't you have something you can throw in there? Really?
Not for you, man.
Wow, we just got to throw it out there, huh? Dang.
I just gave you this.
I know it was good. I thought we might get some music at some point. Man, oh man, this is low production.
This is very low. Very low.
All right,
wow.
so,
This is a toxic environment.
We're going to have the 85 Super Bowl MVP, Richard Dent, in for our draft analyst. So he might have some insight for us.
Colonel.
The Colonel will be here in our Palatine Studios. We said we'd send a car for him, and he said, you don't have to do that. But I said, we insist, and we'll have some lousy wings and some pizza here for you as well.
Only the best stuff there.
We treat them like kings here.
the toxic environment at this
Before we
office.
move on, congratulations to Robbie Gould. He's now the
Robbie!
head football coach at Rolling Meadows High School. That's in your neck of the woods, Tim.
Yeah, or it's right down the road. Don't forget who also went to Rolling Meadows High School, the great Jimmy Garoppolo. So
Yes, I coach Jimmy.
that's right. So yeah, hopefully they do well. You know how kickers have that legendary status as great coaches, so we should see the best.
So coming up next, we're going to talk a little odds and ends and tell you what we're watching. That's coming up on Give Me the Hot Sauce. We're back. Final segment on Give Me the Hot Sauce. We're putting whispers to work today. Tell the folks how they can get some of Stacey's great signature hot sauce.
Well, Mark, it's been a little disappointing since Super Bowl because I got some comments about not doing walking with the impersonations because Super Bowl, so I got to throw it in one last time. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, man.
All right. So anyhow, there's a new code, and you morons gotta use it to get free shipping. It's so easy. It's KING, which is king. All right. So order some sauce from GimmeTheHotSauce.com. Use the code KING, and it's free shipping, which means it gets to your house for peanuts. You don't have to do anything extra. Just type in KING, and you'll have it at your house in a matter of a couple of days. So order some now, or go to the Jewels and get some there. Thank you.
So you're saying that king is easier to spell than walk in fire? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Apparently, no one could figure that out, Mark, because we only had about 5 or 6 of them. 1,000 orders comes in, there's like 5 or 6 people getting extra bottles, and that code still exists. But
yeah,
maybe Christopher Walken was right. People are too dumb to spell my name. They're doing WAKINGQ, not QUE. Like, yeah, it was pathetic. It never got used.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. So let's really simplify things and go with KNG for free shipping.
I think people can spell king, so hopefully that will get some free bottles of hot sauce along with their orders.
I hope.
Hey, the internet last spring when we had Scottie Pippen on the show, and Scottie Pippen is now taking his show on the road. His salty tour is over in Australia. I guess he's enlisted Luke Longley. I don't know if Horace Grant is with him, but they want to give their version on the documentary, the Last Dance documentary. Stacey, what do you make of that? I mean, they're charging people admission to hear their gripes.
Okay, first of all, I know the real scoop. Okay, I know the whole inside on this. Okay, first of all, it's not a haters tour. Okay, it's not a haters tour. Okay, I think Bleacher Report they were the first one that brought it up. What it is Luke Longley is in Australia. He lives in Australia, and he loves to bring his teammates over to Australia to talk about the Bulls, to talk about their time playing with Michael Jordan. And it's just because the Bulls are still big in Australia, and they pay a lot to come over there. Like Scottie made like $100,000 going over there the first time he went over. And then Horace, when I talked to Horace at the Ring of Honor, he was going over there to get on the tour thing. But it's not. Don't read into that. Somebody put that as clickbait. It's not a let's talk about Michael and talk about the Last Dance and all that. What's been said has been said. They will answer questions because it's a Q&A, and there'll probably be some questions of what their relationship is with Michael Jordan, and I'm sure they're going to have their answers. But it's not one of those like let's just let's tell our side of the story and get it out there, because that's what everybody is thinking. That's what it is, and it's really not. It's just a meet and greet, sign autographs, ask some questions. And then take pictures with fans. That's all. That's what it's all about. It's not. When I saw that the other day on Bleacher Report, I laughed because, a lot of these people just put things for clickbait, so they can go viral. Until you actually see them, somebody's got it on video where they're actually talking about it. That's not what this little tour is. It's more of a goodwill tour. Being able to meet some pro athletes. They go there, they go sign autographs, they run camps over there. They do just like the NBA sends players. Luke Longley is the ambassador over in Australia. So he brings Bulls players over there, like Randy Brown. I think Dickie Simpkins is going over there on the next tour. So he tries to bring all his teammates and former Bulls over there because the Bulls are so large over in Australia.
But if Scottie's asked about it, he's not going to hold back. I mean, Stephen A. Smith was on his show today saying that one thing's for sure that Scottie will make a fool of himself at some point during the tour.
Listen, Scottie has his truth, and everybody else can, you may not accept it or not. I mean, we had him on the show, and people who did not see that interview, I urge you to go back and listen to it. Scottie is an emotional guy. His heart's on his sleeve. And I will say this, and I'll continue to say this. You ask anybody that's ever played with Scottie from both those championship teams and ask them who's your best teammate, Scottie Pippen's name will always be number one. He'll always be. You can ask anybody, and they will tell you Scottie is the best team. You won't hear people say Michael Jordan. You won't hear people say Ron Harper. You won't hear all these different names come up. You always hear the same name on both teams, both championship teams, and it'll be Scottie Pippen. So, Scottie's got his issues, and Scottie's got, some of the things, but, Scottie's still a top 100 player, and he has the right to say what he wants to say, whether people like it or not. It's his opinion. That's it. That's his truth. And if you don't like it, drink some digits.
Yeah,
which is very good.
Speaking of having the right to say what you want, how about the incident in Dallas last night where one of the fans called Kevin Durant a bitch, and he wanted to confront him right there.
Listen,
obviously nothing was going to happen physically, but it's an ugly scene in an NBA arena.
Well, listen, fans, it's getting out of hand now. Okay, you have the right. You pay for a ticket. You have a right to yell and scream and say you suck and all this stuff. But when you start, you're coming to the shoot-arounds early. You're there early, and there's no fans hardly in the arena, and you're down there on the floor where everything can be heard now. It's a different story when you got 20,000 in the arena. You're not going to hear all that because all that noise is going to be drowned out by music, whistles, all entertainment on timeouts. But when you're down there like before game, the game's at 7, you're in there at 6 o'clock, you can hear everything now. And those fans are like right on the floor. And as Kevin Durant is walking out, she called him a bitch, and then he turned around and then she tried to act like, hey, come on my podcast and this and that. How you going to call somebody a derogatory name like that and then have the nerve to ask them to come on your podcast? It's just like a fan, spitting on a player or throwing something at a player.
Yeah. Listen,
you have the right to say whatever you want because you pay for the ticket. But on the same token, have some respect for these players. You know what I'm saying? Have some respect for him. If he's being a jerk to you, then you have a reason to say you're a jerk. Okay? Like you see a little kid ask for an autograph, the player just walks by him. That's being a jerk. Come on, man. Sign the autograph. This is what you do. Don't tell a kid like, no, I don't do autographs or get away from me. You're being a jerk. But if the guy is not being a jerk and he's just going out there to do his job to get warmed up and he didn't see you, he didn't come over to see you, you call him a bitch. And then now you want to try to backtrack and, backpedal out of it. Oh, I didn't say that. I said, I want to go to the beach. That's what I said.
Yeah, everybody's brave until they get confronted.
Exactly. And everybody's brave, Mark. And everybody's a keyboard warrior. Everybody's a tough guy, behind on a keyboard, until most of the things these people tweet and say on Twitter, they would never have the nerve to say it in a person's face. You know what I'm saying? Anything I tweet, I'll tell you in your face. I'm not afraid of that. But there's a lot of people that, talk a big game, behind the scenes, and then be the first one to ask you for the autograph when they see you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the real Warriors. You guys, I don't want to talk about the UFC card from last weekend.
Oh, man. Ooh, I'll tell you what, that was a brutal. There's Alexander Volkanovski. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, he got creamed.
I'm going to tell you something, man. That caught me off guard. He's dominated the featherweight division from start to finish. And then he went up to fight, what's his name?
Oh, shoot.
Well, he went up a weight class to fight the champion.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, not him. The weight class ahead. Makhachev or something. Makhachev. Well, he went up to fight him and got beat twice. First time it was like, he barely lost. And the second time he got knocked out. Yeah, they stopped the fight. So he came back kind of damaged goods from that fight. So he fights this guy. This guy's got power in both hands and literally just smoked him. Like he said he was going to knock him out between the first and second round and knocked him out in the second round. Where are you going, man?
What happened to Whispers? Is he going to get some magic mind to help with his memory?
he's
today,
Yeah, he just walked out to go get the food, he said. Look at him.
My goodness. He just gets up in the middle of the show. No apologies.
No,
nothing. He's
yeah,
just
I
gone.
told you, man. Spicoli off fast time, Ridgemont High. He has no regard for the people at work right now. He's just getting up, walking around, talking to people in the office. Oh my God, this is what I have to deal with, Mark.
We got to worry about our guy. I mean, he's got early onset dementia.
Look at him. Now he's coming back in.
All right.
Yeah, here he is. He's coming back in with his tight jeans on. America can see it.
Stop.
Look at him. See, he's trying to hide the tight jeans. Him and Fran, you see Fran's clothes today, Mark. Man, Fran's clothes.
Yeah.
So I thought he had a pair of Lululemons on. They were so tight.
Those are Lululemons.
Look at him. Look at Fran.
You got his high school gym shirt on too?
No. Fran got a nice little top on, but the pants he got on, it looks like it's kind of like mustard brown pants, and they're really tight, man. They're really tight. I mean, I told him,
threw an extra sock in the front.
I told him, Mark, I said, Mark, it's so tight. If he farted, he wouldn't be able to smell it till he got home at 7:00.
It's like the Batman suit really seals the flavor in.
I told you before the show, I'm letting it marinate.
Oh, he's letting it marinate, he said.
I'll bet you are.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
Chief tight pants. Wow.
Chestnuts roasting.
My
roasting.
nuts roasting by the open fire.
Roasting in his shorts.
Oh, my God. Mark, get us back on track. The train's going off.
Hey, so Whispers, did you just fill up a beer or did you grab some Magic Mike? I mean, your memory is just not good today.
Magic Mike. Where's it at, baby?
No, that was with I had to get the pizza lady. And then she started talking about my niece and stuff. She was so nice in the past. I'm like,
Go to the wrong office
what's
again?
happening here?
Oh, you were talking to her on the phone?
No, right here. She was calling me, but she was standing here.
Oh, she didn't know where she was at?
Where to put it on the counter.
Oh, she didn't know where to put it. Okay, all
I
right.
thought it was not that difficult, but that's all right.
Yeah, like you see a big pool table there with wood with a cardboard on there. Means you put it right there.
Yeah, these are luxury studios we got here.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'm sorry, Mark.
That's what you got in your future, eating off of a pool table. There you go.
Oh man,
Well,
Only the finest on giving the hot
that's
sauce.
all.
That's
Listen,
right.
This is a great studio in here, man. We got stripper poles. We got all kind of stuff going on here, man. Look at this. This is a great office, man. It's toxic most days, but today is not toxic. It's Friday. It's just bring your tight jeans to work day. And everybody got the memo but me. I'm wearing sweats.
Glad you listened, friend.
Mark, way to stay
and
at
I
home,
listen.
Mark. Mark, way to stay at home, Mark. You need to bring your tight
And then
jeans.
Tim wanted to slide in a porn viewing on our What Are We Watching this week?
Yes,
Is
he
that
wanted
what
to slide one in.
Well, it was a recommendation from our producer here, and he's.
What did you end up going with? What, are you
What was it
recommending
called?
this week?
whole bunch of
I had never
lies.
heard of
I
this
never
person. He
did
sends me a
that.
link, and I'm like, "Oh, you're right. That's
Bro,
not
man,
half
never heard
bad."
of Lisa Ann.
Lisa Ann.
You know who
You don't
that
know who
is?
Lisa Ann is? That's
No, I don't know. I
crazy.
don't
I didn't know either.
She was the number one before Kendra Luss was number one.
Okay, I don't really watch porn.
That's
Just gonna throw that out there
You're,
because I'm making movies
Caesar
myself.
just got up. He's
I'm making
like,
movies.
"Oh yeah,
Caesar, yeah, Caesar,
driver.
yeah, Caesar knows all about that stuff, man.
your Windy
Yeah.
City guy's like, yeah." We
Yeah,
said,
he's like, where is he here?
I drove her 1 or 2, 3 times. I'm not talking about a car.
Oh my God.
So Whispers, you still getting sex toys mailed to you?
I haven't gotten one in the past 2 weeks, but I'm expecting more.
Wow. Wow. This is sounding.
Well, why wouldn't I? I mean,
Like Whispers.
they must.
Just like whispers.
I'm going with the it must be
What are
secret
we
admirers.
watching this week?
What are you watching, Whispers? Give us what you're watching first. Besides,
Well, besides Lisa Ann stuff. So I finished True Detective, which was
Okay.
that was weird.
did you, Mark? Did you finish it?
I finished it. I didn't really care for the ending.
No,
Nothing really got resolved.
I mean they resolved it, but it wasn't like like the other ones where you go, whoa.
Well, they set up all this supernatural stuff, and then it just turned out to be nothing. Bunch of angry women taking them out in there out to the cooler.
He said a bunch of angry women. Wow.
That was-
We just lost our women viewers. Oh, don't leave us, women viewers, please. No, please. No.
No, but did you catch the last part of what Mark said?
But,
Taking them out to the cooler. I mean, it's the
Well, it's
basically
really
the
cold in the Arctic,
yeah, take them out to the
Wow.
cooler.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Slavsky.
good stuff.
Our women viewers
They
just
loaded them up in
declined
the back of the
30%.
truck, round them up.
Round them up. Take your clothes off.
30% of our women
was
just
pretty-
left.
I don't think they're
Wow.
going to kill him until they saw the shrinkage. They're like, yeah, you're worthless to us now. Get out.
Wow,
there.
the shrink. Oh my God, we've completely gone off the rails. Lord have mercy. All right, I'm
Stacey,
good.
bring us back. What do
Yeah,
you
I'm
got?
bringing
What
you
do
back
got?
right now. So what I finally finished Fool Me Once. And I didn't listen to Mark and I didn't listen to Tim saying the ending was horrible. It was terrible. I almost listened to him. That's why I didn't watch it until yesterday. But I watched it and I was really, really. I liked the ending. I liked the ending. It caught me off guard how that happened. So I'm telling you, America.
She just challenged them to kill her. You know?
Listen.
I mean, the guy standing in the background, she takes the bullets out of the gun. I mean, come on now.
Mark. Calm down over there in the Mark Shanowski estates, okay? Anyway, okay. See, Mark, you look at Mark's bookshelf right there. If he moves one book, that shelf opens up and there's a secret passage
with a bunch of guns
Get out
and
of here
weapons.
quickly.
Well, one's the escape, the other one's the weapons.
Oh my god! No, but it was good. I urge people to watch it. It was good. It was good. It's a whodunit, and it answers a lot of questions. Like, because I was wondering, like, is her husband really alive? And we found out that I'm not going to tell you, but watch it. It's a great show.
It's
great.
well
Spoilers.
Well done.
Well done. Thank you.
And I got a chance to check out The Greatest Night in Pop. Stacey recommended it, and I loved it. That was fantastic.
Yes.
I love the part with Huey Lewis where he had to pinch hit for Prince.
Yes.
And all the other big name performers are going before him, and he's like, I'm kind of this new guy, and my legs were shaking. I was so nervous because they get one line, and if they don't do it, great. And then at the end with Bob Dylan, I mean, like he kind of froze too.
Yeah. It was. I'll tell you what, man. It was a amazing thing that they did. I mean, you have all these superstar people. All these people have their own fan bases. They're big time in their own right, and to put them all in the same room. And when you put them all in the same room, you still know who's number one, number two, number three. No matter how it turned out, you knew like Michael Jackson was the biggest star in that room.
Oh yeah. But you like
the part Waylon Jennings walking out when Stevie Wonder wanted to put some Swahili lyrics in there? That was weird.
Wait a minute. How about Al Jarreau being drunk?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
too.
he was drunk. We ought to. Nobody knows. No, we're not saying that, Al. Al, we're not saying nobody knows how dry I am. Okay, we're saying we are the world. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Just gotta get back.
Showing the clock. It's 5 a.m. It's 6 a.m. and they're trying to get this thing done. You know, it was good. I thought that was fantastic. 38 years later that they released this and it still felt fresh. They did a really good job.
Yeah,
I like that scene when George Michael starts singing and the boss and a couple other guys like turn like, wow, that guy can really sing.
No, how about when Cyndi Lauper and it was Cyndi Lauper and Kim Carnes, and then they were singing their part. And then Michael Jackson turned around and looked at him like, "Are we really putting these people on on this album? Are we really putting these people on this album?" Quincy, I need to talk to you. But it all worked out perfectly.
Yeah, when they got done mixing it, you consider the fact that they're using reel-to-reel machines.
Yeah,
this is the mid '80s. It was crazy how good it was, the end product.
I tell you what, you want to know how many people they went after to decline them, because Prince. Prince's thing was he didn't want to record with all the people. He wanted to be in a room by himself and record his part. They were like, no, you got to sing it with everybody else. And so Sheila E., who was Prince's protege, they brought her on. And
what was she?
Protege. It was a little protege. Sheila E.
What?
His little. He discovered her. He discovered Sheila. He was a drum stand.
I'm a professional analyst.
He discovered something.
Hey, listen. Anyway, before I was really interrupted by the guy who acts like our producer but doesn't produce anything but jokes. Sheila E. was there. She told the story that Prince didn't want to be in there because he didn't want to be around all the people. He wanted to be in the room by himself, and he wanted to record it. And they was like, no. Quincy Jones like, nope. We need you here. We need all the voices to kind of, to blend in. And, so you imagine the people who didn't go, who even turned it down, what they're thinking 20, 30 years later. Because there probably was a lot of singers that didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, that was before like Whitney Houston exploded. Could you imagine Whitney Houston on there? Woo! Wow.
Yeah, so if you're a music fan, you got to check it out. It's on Netflix. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. So really a good watch. And one of the big stars, of course, was Bruce Springsteen. And I know your guy Mike is a big Springsteen fan. Is Mike back on duty?
No, Mike's still out, man. He's still out. I've jumped to. I've got a lot of drivers now since Mike's been out. Mike's been out for like almost 3 months. And he's supposed to be back at the end of the month, but
All right.
I'm not telling anybody's medical history.
No, don't have a HIPAA violation.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about,
exactly.
We know he's a big Springsteen fan, so we send our best out. I'm sure that
he's
Mike
doing
would enjoy
better.
that
He's doing
documentary
better.
as
He's
well.
right now.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to get a new truck, so he's got to try to get a new truck. But he's health wise, he's doing 1,000 times better. And so I had my guy Brian Hennigan, who's my second driver, and then my new driver is Caesar. Caesar is the man. Caesar is funny as hell.
He's a sniper, though.
Yeah, no, Caesar's the man, though. Caesar knows hip hop. He knows all that stuff, man. We have good conversations in there.
Well, tell the folks how they can take advantage of Windy City Limousine service.
Mark, I didn't think you'd ever ask. Windy City Limousine provides championship service.
Windy.
Making a reservation is so easy. It's a slam dunk. Easy. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time.
No pressure.
Contact Wendy at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300.
00.
Visit WindyCityLimos.com.
Nicely done. I think that'll put a bow on this edition and give me the hot sauce. I got to get out of here. So
you going to dinner? Where you going to dinner tonight, baby?
Nonsense.
Where you taking the wife to dinner?
I got to go out the back here. I put the shelves back and I just sneak out on.
Bruce Wayne, baby, just slide down the pole, baby.
Right.
You got a stripper pole in there, Mark. I know you do, boy.
Batman costume down there too. So
oh, boy, you got a Batman, you freak.
I'll bet you do.
I bet you do, buddy. Well, what is that little ball thing you put in your mouth? Did you use
ball
Tim?
gag?
The ball gag? Tim used that, but Mark, he said you might have one down there.
Tim will get that mailed to him next week by his admirers.
I'll see what you guys started. It's probably going to show up.
Oh my God. All right, Mark, enjoy your dinner, man.
Perfect time to wrap it up. That's going to do it for this edition of Give Me the Hot Sauce. Who knows what we're going to have for you next week? So stay tuned. We'll be advertising on social media. Until then, Stacey.
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Oh, my goodness. It's only preseason, but I'm hyped.